Je crois que je suis au dernier cas, là. C'est le 6e cas. Il paraît qu'il y a 6 cas dans ce jeu.
Have you been invited somewhere?
We have been invited, Watson.
We have. Where to?
To the Baker Street Irregulars' annual dinner. They sent us an invitation. It is on the table.
A dinner? How could those street urchins afford anything like that? I can't understand your interest in them, Holmes. They're dirty. They wouldn't hesitate to steal your wallet. They...
Watson, you should be excited. It is a secret dinner. Its location changes every year. Read the menu. Sounds mouth-watering.
All right. We, the secret police of Baker Street, invite you, Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson to our annual dinner. Menu, entree, frozen rat head salad. Is this a joke?
Not at all. Pray continue.
Main course, sow's udder in Danny Nutcracker's way. Ah, sounds disgusting, Holmes. Hedgehog goulash. Street turnips in homemade juice. And it goes on.
Ah, I can hear them on the stairs now.
Oh, we can't go there. We can't eat that.
Watson, you'll hurt the feelings of those poor children. We have to go.
Oh, Mr. Holmes.
It is fine, Mrs. Hudson.
Mr. Holmes!
Wiggins, Dr. Watson is getting ready. He will be delighted to join us. You don't look well, my young man. Is there something wrong? Don't tell me the dinner is cancelled.
Mr. Holmes, it's my brother Leighton. He's in a prison cell. They say he's killed 2 men. You have to help us, Mr. Holmes, 'cause I know he didn't do it.
Where is he now?
From what I've heard, they took him to the yard, and they gave him a good beating already. You know what they're like. They'll hang him. They won't look any further.
Holmes, we have to help him.
Well, and forget about the dinner? Wiggins, I'll take the case.
You're fantastic, Mr. Holmes. I'll be waiting for you at the crime scene. You'll be there, right? It's on Half Moon Street in Whitechapel.
Very well.
Ah! Mon cher Watson ne veut pas aller manger là-bas. C'était rempli de fautes d'orthographe. C'est pas correct. Bon, je vais aller changer mon habit là pour le dernier cas. Allez, pour le dernier cas, il faut changer ses habits. On va prendre... Attends, non, complet brun, non. Complet vert, bon, t'as l'air de la merde comme ça. Gris, complet clair. Oh oui, bandit. Ah, dommage que je peux... Ah, c'est bloqué. Comment je fais pour débloquer ces trucs-là? Ok, bon, on va aller voir la coiffeuse. Je change un peu mon look. Qui est bloqué? Bon, je sais pas comment débloquer cette merde là. Oh. Lunettes? Ah, je peux même pas avoir de lunettes. Barbe? Même pas. Pff. Attends. J'ai l'air d'un chinois comme ça. Ok, bon, allons-y. Bon. C'est chiant, mais j'ai rien de débloqué, alors je peux rien faire. Bon, on va aller à Scotland Yard maintenant, hein. Le Scotland Yard. Oui, tu sais, voilà. Je vais aller libérer ton frère, mon ami. Je vois. Dommage, je peux pas manger de tête de rat, je peux pas manger de goulash de je sais pas quoi, et puis peut-être des pénis bandés, là, qui vont faire passer pour des hot dogs.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Merci beaucoup, Lestrade. Allez, bon, on va aller fouiller ces trucs. Voilà, allez, ici. Et hop. Un revolver. Ah, il est assez riche pour se procurer.
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco. Nothing interesting.
Hey!
A cheap watch. Bought with his own money, no doubt.
Voyons donc.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver. A reliable weapon.
Comment? Comment tu peux te procurer ça? Achète des pommes et des tomates à la place.
It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder.
Oh, la gâchette? Non, je veux la gâchette, non, y a rien, ok.
2 out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2 shots.
Un pour chaque victime. Bam, bam. Oui, je veux voir le frère, il a l'air de quoi? Où est-il, où est-il? Est-ce qu'il est là? Non? Ah.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
Ah, est-ce que c'est lui le suspect?
Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Ah bah oui.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
Allez, est-ce que... Bon, tu dois me faire confiance, ok? Tu dois me faire
Good.
confiance.
Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work, and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw 2 men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head, and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead, and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it. And then I followed the third man.
Oh, t'es un héros, t'es un héros.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man.
Le troisième homme.
Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark. And he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps... It's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Vous avez vu comment je l'ai interrompu parce qu'il disait de la merde? Ok, bon. Qu'est-ce que c'est catrice profonde, bagarre occasionnelle? A grandi dans la rue. Ça se voit avec son frère, là. Ah, un bleu? Non, non, pas, non, ok. Coup récent a résisté à l'arrestation. Tête brûlée. Tête brûlée. Oh, tatouage. Oh, il y a déjà combien de crimes, ce gars-là? Ah! T'es pas aussi blanc que tu le dis, hein? Ok. Parfait.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Ouais. Je dois te libérer. Que dois-je faire maintenant? Ah, je dois sûrement aller, ouais, examiner la scène du crime à Half Moon Street. Allons-y. C'est la première fois que je vais aller là-bas, hein. J'ai hâte de voir à quoi ça ressemble. Half Moon Street. Donc bon. En gros, ce gars-là est en prison juste parce qu'il voulait voir un feu d'artifice. Les feux, c'est mauvais. Oh, on dirait on va voir un jeu d'horreur. Eh, c'est le président de l'Amérique. Ah, ok, non, non, c'est pas le président. Il veut pas que je... c'est sûrement ici. Ouais. Oh, oh, oh. Qu'est-ce qu'on va voir? J'espère que Watson me suit, hein? Je vais pas être seul. Ah, ah! Qu'est-ce qu'on voit? Qu'est-ce qu'on va voir?
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes. Is that you?
Good evening, Constable...
Constable Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then, this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving.
Ah, allez. Témoin.
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who is over at the far side of the street.
Ah, ok. Je dois aller chercher leur témoignage.
Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stout fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
Ça me dit rien, mais ok.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Ah, d'accord.
Did you hear the shots?
I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
Ah, essaye pas, je sens que tu me mens, mon gars.
What were the fireworks in honor of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
D'accord.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Merci.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Ouais, je suis sûr. Bon, on va examiner le corps. L'autopsie. Oh, regardez, il y a une face de bœuf quand il est mort. Oh boy.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
Ouais, c'est vrai. Bon, ok. Oh, oh, oh! Voleur de clés!
This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
Ah, ouais, c'est ça. Tu vas aller dans son appart maintenant? Ok, il n'y a rien d'autre. Bon, T. Pavé. Objet coincé. Morceau de bois.
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look.
On dirait... Ouais, on dirait un hot dog, là. Ok, c'est tout, c'est tout. Ah, c'est pété ici.
This shard of wood is quite new.
Ouais, c'est ça, vole tout. Je suis sûr que tu veux fumer le bois, mon ami. Lui, là... Oh boy, lui, il a dû souffrir beaucoup, hein? Ok, mais...
A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there.
C'est le même tatou que le
Brian
mec.
Vercotti and Leighton Chapman both have identical Westgate prison tattoos. They were most likely acquainted.
Ouais, tous les gens de la ville se connaissent, ouais.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound.
Ouais, je peux voir que c'est pas très beau, hein. Pourquoi quand tout le monde meurt, ils ont une face de bœuf?
Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die.
Ouais. Souffrir longtemps avant de mourir, c'est vraiment chiant, là. Tu as raison.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
Moi, je me demande pourquoi tu arrêtes pas de dire la même
It
chose.
would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
Allez, un petit témoin. Ryan Turner.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Varro reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story?
Ouais, allez, dis-moi qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, mec.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Tu sais, on dirait que t'as bu beaucoup d'alcool aujourd'hui, hein?
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Oh, tu oses dire que mon ami est un meurtrier? Toi, tu vas le regretter, mon gars.
Were the 2 shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment.
Oh, ça c'est vraiment intéressant.
Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with the gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
Ok, c'est tout? Toi là, t'arrêtes pas de toucher ton ventre, je crois que t'as la diarrhée ou quelque chose, hein? Si tu veux aller aux toilettes, je t'empêche pas d'y aller. Vétéran de guerre. Oh, monsieur est un vétéran de guerre. Vie humble. Comment ça, vie humble? J'avais vu quelque chose ici. Non? Ok. Ah, claudication. Je sais pas c'est quoi, mais ok.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Vétéran de guerre. T'sais. Ben, va aux toilettes, là, si t'as besoin d'aller aux toilettes. Vétéran de guerre. Qu'est-ce que tu fais, monsieur Wiggins?
I'll do anything to save my brother, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, même à me donner des têtes de rat à manger. Merci, merci. On va aller voir la fleuriste. Ouais. Oh, est-ce qu'elle est sexy? Est-elle belle?
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony, but very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual, and then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Ah, je vois. C'est toi la femme qui a crié qui a fait peur à tout le monde.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Ok, parfait.
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Je vois que tu essaies d'attirer tes clients avec des fleurs, hein?
I suppose that I shall have to move my stall now.
Ouais, t'as raison. High Class Thornton Shoe Repairs. Je sais pas, il y a beaucoup de choses ici, hein? Bon, ok. Waouh! Ok, on va faire un petit jeu de je sais pas quoi, là. D'association. Un coup de feu simultané. Position de tir. Ah, si Turner n'a entendu une différence entre les deux coups de feu, c'est qu'en réalité, 3 coups ont été tirés, un premier isolé puis 2 simultanément juste après. On va aller enquêter sur ça après. Un autre indice, témoignage de Layton, témoignage concordant. Un homme imaginaire? La personne que Layton Chapman décrit dans son témoignage est un pur produit de son imagination, créé pour se disculper. Ça va pas très bien ensemble, hein? Position de tir. Bon, ça va mieux ensemble. Allez, aucun butin, témoignage concordant, fenêtre sombre, revolver, 2 victimes, non, c'est ok, 2 butins, nanana. Les associations, ça va prendre du temps, oui. Double assassinat. Kenneth Butler et Brian Vercote ont été victimes d'un double assassinat perpétré par une seule personne. Bon, ok. C'est seulement une personne qui a tué ces deux mecs-là, d'accord? Ligne, fenêtre, témoignage, concordant. Ok, les dépositions des témoins et l'arme du crime pointent toutes vers une unique coupable, Layton Chapman. Je suis désolé, mon gars, mais ton frère est vraiment... Ton frère est dans la merde. Monsieur Turner a affirmé être resté à la fenêtre de son appartement jusqu'à l'arrivée de la police. Pourtant, Mara a précisé n'avoir vu personne à la fenêtre. Oh, témoignage contradictoire. Ok, je dois fouiller son appart maintenant. Ok, on va aller fouiller son appart. Allez. Dégage de là, sale con! Et laisse-moi rentrer.
Mr. Turner, you have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
Non. Contradiction de Turner.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Tu me caches quelque chose, mon gars. Tu me caches quelque chose.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly.
Ouais, il me cache quelque chose. Est-ce que je peux voler quelque chose? Voler son lit?
Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Ok, wow. Tu laisses tes bols partout? Tu peux pas le mettre au lavabo pour faire la vaisselle? Je sais pas. Ouais, sa maison est sale, oui. Regardez ça, il y a des trous partout. Eh boy, si je m'achète un appart et je le loue, là, je vais bien choisir mes locataires parce que...